Welcome back to the 86. Hope everybody had a great week. Last weekend we got quite a bit done on the truck. We got all 4 springs changed out, got it sitting like it's supposed to, so that's going to help us get our driveline measurements and exhaust clearance and all sort of things that we needed. But it's still looking pretty bare back here, so we feel like it's time to get a bed on this truck. So we're going to go out, we're going to get the gray bed off this 3/4 ton, set it on here and get it mounted. So let's get to work. So I think the first plan of action is going to be to attack this problem here. And there's nobody to blame but me because I'm the one that did this. The original bed, it had like a bucket truck bed on it. It was welded to the frame and I ended up just cutting the back of the frame off. And it's right up against this cross member, so it's going to be real fun to fix. But we need this because there's a bed bolt back here somewhere and then the bumper brackets will bolt right here. So we got to put this frame back, and we're just going to take some 3/16 and bend our C, probably make it long and fit it on here where it's straight. So that's going to be first. All right, so we measured the other truck with a level across the cab mounts like this. We got 95.5 inches from the back of the level to the very end of the bed frame rail. So this is kind of a gnarly cut, but we got 89 7/8. So we need, what did we say it was? 90 what?
95.5.
95?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because we're figuring about 6 inches.
So we need 5 5/8, pretty much. That ain't too bad. We should be able to break that in 3/16. So we probably just do 6 inches. That'll give us 7/8 of an inch wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'll work. Make a 6-inch piece, match the shape of the frame. And then we'll come back in here and get this angle marked on it. So we got 3 inches, 3 1/8, 4 5/8. 3 1/8. So I think probably the best thing to do would be to just cut our piece a little bit long and focus on this dimension here, because that's the one we really need to hit. So if we cut it just as long as we need and we worked off an edge and we get this right and then we miss it here, then it's all for naught. If we get these bends right, if it's a little bit long here, then we can just sand it off.
Yeah.
So basically, we just need our piece to be 4 1/2 plus 3 1/4. That's 6 1/2. 6 1/2 and 4 1/2 is 11. That'll give us just a little extra. So we need piece 6 by 11. And then 4 5/8 will be the outside. So we'll probably need to move that, each one of those lines in 3/16 from 4 5/8. So it'd be 3/8, be 4 1/4. Should be what our center measurement is. As long as we break each of those long. By that, I just mean this part should be inside the brake. Your fingers come down here. This will be outside. And to break the other one, we'll have to flip it around, do the same thing. That way this grows instead of shrinks. And that should get us where we want to be, which is these 2 corners matching up like they're supposed to. So that's quite a bit of radius. I don't know if we're going to be able to match that, but it should be pretty close. All right, let's see.
Pretty dang close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on the money right there. A little more. All right. A little bit. All right. It's pretty good. All right, now what we gotta do is cut our angles on here and weld them up. I guess the first thing we gotta do is clean this mess up. This is all torch cut, kind of gnarly. So we'll get this cleaned up, and that way we can actually get some measurements off of it. So now all we gotta do is not hang this square off here. There we go. That'll give us a measurement from top to bottom. Just transfer that measurement to our piece, and we have our angle. Nothing to it. 2 1/64. We'll call it 2. 2 inches. Let's check this one. See if it's the same.
Nope.
Nope. An 1/8 of an inch difference. So I think that one is a lot more straight. This one kicks right here. Should be ready to rock and roll. All right, let's get these things tacked on here. And it feels good. It's almost perfect. I think I'm gonna put a pretty decent gap in it. Now we'll take our square and lay it across here, make it touch all the way down, and then it'll be straight. Give it a little extra so it can draw down a little bit. Do the same thing on the side. kind of. It's pretty good. Fit on the bottom is not very good.
Yeah, it's a little wide.
But that is kind of worked to our advantage. Since that cut is right on the edge of this brace, it kind of gives room to let weld flow in there without welding that brace. It's probably going to get welded anyway, but it kind of helps. Now, if you look back here, because we gave ourselves a good gap, we got weld metal exposed. So no grinding gonna be necessary this time. When we weld the back of this, it's gonna tie right into that weld metal and it'll be 100%. All right, well, that takes care of that. So now, what I think we're going to do is go ahead and bring the bed in and set it down on here, get everything lined up where we want, and then we can mark all of our holes. So the frame on that other truck ends just about maybe a quarter of an inch past that last bed mount hole. So once we have that hole, we'll know right where to cut this extra off. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Starting to look like a truck. We haven't done any lining up or anything like that. It's just sitting there, but it's starting to look like something.
Yeah, I was missing one thing.
Looks kind of tall. Yeah, we're gonna have to sort out some fenders. That may be a trick, but we'll get that figured out later.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's get this thing bolted down.
Looking good. Yeah, it moved. I don't know how much.
Got 1 1/8 inch here.
What'd you have before?
1 inch. I think this one was 3/4. Still 3/4. All right, I think we got it where we want it. This gap seems a little wide, but I think that's about the way factory would have been. It puts us pretty much where we want to be in the fender well, just slightly forward. So when the suspension settles, that axle is going to roll back. And then if you ever put weight in the back of the truck, it's going to roll back even more. So we don't want it to be perfectly centered right now, although it's not too far off. So we're just kind of finding a balance between this front gap and our wheels in the fender well. And it's looking pretty good. We got a little less gap on this side for some reason. This bed is just at a square. So that's a little bit tighter. Honestly, it looks better, but it's not much we can do about that. We're even side to side with the front and in the back. We can use the tape and get measurements there. This wheel looks good in the fender well. So I think we got it nailed down. Now we got to do, let's get in here and mark all these holes. Because there's 10 of them for the bed. No, there's 8 of them for the bed. There's 4 of them for the gooseneck hitch, which we're going to keep. Premium hubcaps. Gotta hang on to those. There's our hide-a-ball, hide-away gooseneck hitch. We're gonna go ahead and bolt that thing back in here. So that's what we're gonna do next. Well, we're using this mag drill. We're centering up this bit in the square hole. And we're just running it down through there and just putting a divot in the frame rail to mark it. It's not really sticking to this sheet metal good enough to just go on through it. Plus this bit isn't all that great, so it's wobbling around a lot. So we're just going to mark them with this. We'll take the bed back off, and then we can stick the mag drill on the frame rail, and it should do a whole lot better. So we're just going to go down the line and get all of them marked. Yep, that's all of them. Now we got to do, pull the bed back off and we can drill them all. Then we set the bed back on, put all the bolts in, fit the bumper, mark those holes, take the bumper off, drill those holes, put the bumper back on. That'd be about it. Oh, I thought you had it.
I did too. Dang, practically through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, help going forward.
So we've been sitting here kind of talking about this hitch for a minute. And it just has these 4 bolts holding it in there, which in all reality probably be plenty. But we aren't 100% comfortable with it, so just to get ourselves a little peace of mind, we're going to cut some plates to go on the side and put 2 more bolts in it. Then we know for a fact that it's never going anywhere, and it's one less worry. So that's what we're going to do next. We're just going to cut some plates out of some flat bar, drill 2 more holes, and then we'll weld them to the hitch here. All right, we got our little plates cut here. This one's got a notch in it for this handle to move. It goes back and forth to unlock that ball. We drilled our bolts inward a little bit so we can clear the other bolts. We didn't want them to be running into each other in there. That's why these are inset. So that'll go right there. We'll do a little cleaning on this paint. It's kind of peeling off right now anyway. We'll get that cleaned up. Probably mark and drill these holes first, and then we can bolt these before we weld it. Maybe. It may not make any difference, but we're gonna get these welded on anyway.
All right, so we got this sucker welded in here. Looking good. Got our brackets in, got the holes drilled. Holmes went to go get some bolts, put in the sides. Get those bolted up. Then we'll be ready, I think, to bring the bed back in. Or, you know, we also got to drill holes and stuff to mount the rear bumper. So we may try and do that off of measurements. I don't know. We'll brainstorm that here in a second. See what we're going to do next.
All right, so we went out and took some measurements off of the frame of the gray truck so we can lay out our bumper bolt holes. Go ahead and get those drilled now. That way when we set the bed back on here and bolt it down, we can also fit the bumper. So just gonna lay these out. We'll go ahead and get them drilled. There's 3 on each side. And then I think we're ready to set the bed back on here.
Yeah. Oh, what was that?
One of the bed bolts. I got mine in.
I feel like the front needs to come over a little bit. Take it out.
There we go. Got them all in. So that's where it's going to live. Pretty dang snazzy.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know
Ain't
about
nothing
what?
worse than seeing a dually without some dually fenders. Definitely gonna have to remedy that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks funny, but looks a heck of a lot better than it did.
Yeah, that's true. Now I guess we need to bring our bumper in and test fit it.
Yep. Definitely got to have a bumper. Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah. It's crazy hot.
Yeah.
Yep. Snafu number 1. Does it go on the, oh, that goes on the inside.
Oh, it sandwiches it. Oh. we finally got our bumper on. We had to make some slight adjustments to the holes on this side to get them lined up right. The other side was perfect, just off of measurements. But that's all squared away. We just left them loose because it's going to come back off anyway. That's why it's sagging a little bit, but it's on there. Now we can get a little bit more of the picture. It's looking more and more like a truck.
Looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And get some fenders on this thing. Be perfect.
Yep.
But that's all the time we got for this episode. We appreciate y'all watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, we'd appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel. And then don't forget to go in the comments and type subscribe. That way, you're entered into our monthly giveaways. This month, we're giving away a 3-piece set of Estwing ball peen hammers. So there'll be a link in the description if you want to check those out. But that's going to do it for this one. We appreciate y'all watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.